From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting. President Barack Obama is criticizing a group of 47 Republican senators who warned Iran Monday that any nuclear deal it negotiates with Mr. Obama could last only until he leaves office in early 2017. Mr. Obama says the Republicans' actions are ironic because the senators appear to want to align themselves with hardliners in Iran. White House spokesman Josh Earnest says the letter is an attempt to disrupt sensitive negotiations as the United States and the 5 other world powers try to reach a basic agreement with Tehran by March 31st.
I would describe this letter as the continuation of a partisan strategy to undermine the president's ability to conduct foreign policy and advance our national security interests around the globe.
Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif also criticized the Republicans' letter, saying it has no legal value and is mostly a propaganda ploy. Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko says pro-Russian rebels have withdrawn a significant amount of heavy weaponry from the front lines in eastern Ukraine, and says his government has pulled back the lion's share of its weaponry as well. In a national television speech on Monday, Mr. Poroshenko also said attacks that have marred the 3-week-old truce have fallen significantly. In Washington, President Obama met Monday with the head of the European Council for talks on a unified strategy aimed at countering Russian efforts to redraw the borders of Ukraine. Soldiers from Chad and Niger retaken the northeastern Nigerian town of Damasak from Boko Haram militants. The capture of the town on the Niger-Nigeria border is the first reported success from a joint offensive against the militants that Chad and Niger launched in Nigeria's Borno state in recent days. This is VOA News. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected an appeal from a former Somali prime minister who was ordered to pay more than $20 million to victims of human rights abuses in his country. The court Monday declined to review a lower court ruling allowing a lawsuit to proceed against Muhammad Ali Samantar, who lives in the U.S. state of Virginia. He served as prime minister and defense minister in the regime of Somali dictator Mohammed Siad Barre in the 1980s and early 1990s. As Iraqi forces inch forward in the battle to retake Tikrit from Islamic State fighters, the U.S.-led coalition continued its air campaign against militants in Syria and Iraq on Monday with 13 airstrikes. They are focused largely near Kobani and Fallujah. The U.S. has not joined the week-old offensive by Iraqi forces and Shiite militias as they advance on Tikrit. Indian Prime Minister Modi will visit 3 small neighboring Indian Ocean nations Tuesday. He's hoping to increase his country's influence along a strategic maritime route where China's presence is growing. Anjana Pasricha reports.
The first stop for Prime Minister Modi will be Seychelles. From there, he travels on to Mauritius and Sri Lanka. Indian Foreign Secretary Subramaniam Jaishankar says New Delhi wants to tap on the substantive goodwill for India in these countries.
We are looking at our visit, our interests, the possibilities of our cooperation with these countries. And we are very bullish about where we see these relationships going.
Mr. Modi will focus on boosting maritime ties as India seeks to become the main security provider in the Indian Ocean region. Anjana Pasricha for VOA News, New Delhi.
The head of the Eurozone's 19 finance ministers urged Greece to stop wasting time and speed up talks in implementing a reform program to secure international rescue loans. Group Chairman Yurin Gisselblum says little has been done since the last Eurogroup meeting in terms of talks and implementation of its economic reforms. U.S. immigration officers arrested 2,059 convicted criminal immigrants in a 5-day sweep carried out in several jurisdictions across the country. Those arrested came to the U.S. from 94 countries and have been convicted of a vast array of crimes. More than 1,000 of those arrested had felony convictions, including voluntary manslaughter, child pornography, robbery, kidnapping, and rape. U.S. technology giant Apple Incorporated unveiled its latest innovation Monday, the Apple Watch, a costly wrist-worn timepiece that doubles as a miniature computer with multiple applications. Apple Watch users will be able to make calls, read their email, listen to music, and monitor personal workouts. The cheapest model of the new device expected to be $349. I'm Ray Kouguell in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.